Can everybody hear out there?
Hang on, I need permission to record, please.
Coach will make an opening statement, and then we'll take questions. Please hit the raise your hand function. Turn it over to Coach now.
Am I on? Just first of all, just like to give credit to Georgia. I thought they really outplayed us there in the second half. When you look at the game, of course, we'll learn a lot when we watch the tape. You can't turn the ball over 3 times against anybody and expect to win. We turned the ball 3 times in the second half. One's for a defensive score, 2 times I don't even think they made a first down and kicked field goals. So there's 13 points there that really changed the game. Made a lot of mistakes on the defensive side, especially on third down. It's and that's on me. It ain't on nobody else. It's on me. So I learned a long time ago that you got to be able to do what your players can do, and if they can't do it, you gotta do a better job coaching them up, and I've got to do a better job doing that. Offensively, created a couple of explosive plays in the first half, but in the second half, didn't control the line of scrimmage. Played behind the sticks. Got to be more explosive. Got to be able to run the ball, and we didn't really create any plays in special teams. So with that, I'll take any questions.
All right, we'll start with Vince Farrar, and then we'll go to David Pascal.
Yeah, Coach, you guys have used 8 timeouts on defense the last 2 weeks in each game. What do you kind of attribute some of that?
Well, there was a couple of times we didn't have the right personnel on the field. We had a few guys that got hurt. Sometimes you want to look and see what the other team's doing if it's a critical part of the game. I felt like there was 2 times tonight that we used timeouts when maybe we didn't want to, but we probably thought it was the best thing to do.
Jeremy, I know you talked about the turnovers in the second half. Did Georgia do anything coming out of the gate there in the second half that was a little bit different that gave you guys trouble?
Talking about on the offensive side?
I'm sorry, on the defensive side, what they did.
They got pressure on the quarterback. I don't know exactly what pressures they ran, but a couple of times we had people blocking them, and they beat us in one-on-ones. And then we threw a pick, which was an ill-advised throw. You just can't do stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty simple. We turned the ball over 3 times and didn't get any turnovers the second half. It's a difference in the ball game.
And as a quick follow, is that as deep of a defense as you've seen? I know you were a part of a lot of deep defenses at Alabama, but when you look at Georgia's defense, is that one of the deepest ones you can remember? Because it seems like they play a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't studied them that much. They got good players and do a good job coaching them up.
All right, we'll go to Blake Topmeyer, followed by Jimmy Himes.
Jeremy, what do you think has to happen for Tennessee to close the gap to where Georgia is right now?
Don't turn the ball over 3 times in one half. It's pretty simple, guys. It ain't about timeouts. It ain't about it's about turning the ball over 3 times in the second half. It's about not being able to run the football. It's about getting off the field on third down. It's everything I said in my opening statement. Those things we got to fix, and we'll work hard to do that.
Jeremy, did you feel like you would be able to run the ball more successfully than you did against Georgia because you weren't able to mount much of a run game?
Yeah, we didn't run the ball very well at all. Didn't seem to get in rhythm offensively. We created a couple of big throws there. But to win in this league, you have to be able to run the ball. And we didn't run the ball tonight. And it's tough to win that way when you become one-dimensional.
And also the goal line stand at the end of the half. Did you feel pretty good about where your team was, maybe having momentum going in at halftime?
Well, I mean, I didn't feel like we played real sharp defensively. Just made a lot of mistakes, especially on third down. Let the quarterback out of the pocket. You know, give them they got 2 first downs on penalties. You know, one I think was a 3rd and 14 that they end up getting a first down on. So, you know, yeah, we're sitting there with a lead at halftime. You know, you got to go play the second half, and we had an opportunity to do that. You know, we turned the ball over twice there. And I thought the defense really done a nice job holding them to field goals. But we never could sustain anything offensively in the second half.
Austin Price, then David Ubben.
Coach, for the struggles in the offensive line, was that, you know, was there anything you saw in particular? Was it one particular side, or was it just kind of everybody in your opinion? And then 2, the turnovers, the fumbles specifically in the second half, do you attribute those more to Jarrett or the O-line?
You know, I'd have to watch the game to see. Y'all probably got a better idea of it than me. You know, because you get to watch replays and all that. I know that we lost a guy on an edge one time, and he knocked the ball out of our hands from the blind side. We made an ill-advised throw on an interception. So we didn't do a very good job protecting. But when you're not able to run the football, that's what happens.
David?
Yeah, Jeremy, when you look at the second half, why do you feel like you guys weren't able to sustain anything offensively?
Well, I think if you look at the first half, we didn't sustain a whole lot there either. I think we just created some explosive plays. You know, we got to do a better job coaching our guys up so they can execute at a higher level.
Mike Wilson and Joe Rexroad.
Yeah, Jeremy, the offensive line was hit with a few penalties today. Was there anything in particular going on there? And is there anything that came from Georgia that contributed to that?
You know, it's unusual for the center to snap the ball. You know, the center to get, I guess, an illegal procedure. So I don't know if they were saying the snap count. I don't know if they were just making move calls. But I mean, there's no reason for that. We've got to do a better job. But I don't know how many penalties we had. We had a lot. A lot of them were unforced, which were uncharacteristic for us. So you can't put yourself behind the sticks from penalties and expect to move the ball against a good defense.
Joe?
Yeah, Jeremy, as poorly as that third quarter was going, your defense still keeping you in the game, forcing field goals. So was there any talk at that point about still trying to stick with the run, establish it more, even though it hadn't been going well at that point?
Yeah, our whole thing's to be aggressive, run the football, throw the football. You know, we didn't win first down, and you know, second down just felt like we just played slow to me offensively. Got to do a much better job.
All right, Gustavo, then Jimmy Himes.
Pruitt, what did you fundamentally learn from your team today, especially the adversity they have, especially in the second half where they couldn't score?
You know, I really think a lot of our guys, or most of our guys, played with really good effort. I don't think we executed at a very high level all the time. And then I think there's probably some guys on our team that didn't play good at all. I don't think there's many of them, but I do think there's a couple of them. And, you know, you need to play games like this to figure out, you know, kind of who we are, you know. So obviously we got to go back in there and if we're playing with really good effort, we got to execute at a higher level. And I saw a lot of that. You know, I think our guys played hard. I just don't think we played smart all the time.
Jeremy, in the fourth quarter, was there any consideration to make a change at quarterback?
No, I mean, I don't really know where that would have helped. it starts with protection. That's the first thing, and getting guys open. If you can't run the football, you got a tough day's work. We're sitting there down 16, with a chance there possibly to score and get a 2-point conversion. But we didn't get it done.
All right, a couple more here. Trey Wallace and Austin Price.
Jeremy, any consideration to try to, and I know it was difficult, try to spread the football out a little bit more to different receivers and take some more shots downfield besides to Palmer?
Yeah, guys, we call the plays, and lots of times the coverage dictates where the ball goes. We obviously would have specialty plays, but we've got to create some more explosive plays. I saw Brandon Johnson make a nice play or two. Princeton Fant made a nice play out there. So we've got good weapons. We got to do a better job running the football. Got to get the ball out of our hand, and got to be more explosive on offense.
Coach, you told us the other day you're going to have a scrimmage on Sunday for those young guys that aren't able to make the trip and stuff. Is that still the plan? And how important is it to kind of just wash this going into tomorrow and get those guys some good work?
Yeah, we've really planned this out to give these guys an opportunity. There's a lot of guys on our team that hadn't even scrimmaged this year. So they may not be playing right now. And a lot of the reason they're not playing is because they hadn't had an opportunity to kind of show us what they can do. And it's not their fault. It's just the circumstances that we had. So we're going to try to give these guys an opportunity tomorrow night to kind of get them along. So because we have a lot of guys that are talented, they just aren't getting to play right now. And a lot of it's because really the unknowns based off the circumstances.
All right, thank y'all very much. We'll have players shortly.
Okay, we have senior wide receiver Josh Palmer. We'll take questions. David Pascal, then David Ubben.
Josh, what was the difference there in the second half? Obviously you had a nice couple of touchdown catches and the 21-17 lead. What is it? Something y'all did? Something they did? Why were these two halves so different?
Yeah, they just came out better in the second half. Honestly, we just got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot and making our own mistakes. But yeah, they just were the better team in the second half.
And what do you think of their defense? You knew it was talented. Obviously, they play a lot of guys. What was just kind of your thoughts after going up against Georgia's defense?
They're a strong group of guys. They're hitting on all cylinders, and they just came out better in the second half and just took over.
Josh, can you walk us through both those catches?
We just called some go routes, like I said in the first game. Just saw the ball and just started to make a play. Really is what we emphasized, making plays in the receiver room. So we just went out there and that was our main focus, trying to make plays every game.
Okay, we'll have Patrick Brown, Gustavo, and then Blake Topmeyer.
Josh, Coach Pruitt said you guys really couldn't find a rhythm in the second half offensively, and it seemed like you guys were playing slow. Could you kind of sense that, and how are you guys trying to fight your way out of it?
Like I said earlier, or not earlier, just now, but they came out in the second half with a lot of energy. We just weren't able to match that. They came out and played better than us in the second half. Like I said, we just got to stop beating ourselves. Really, that's just the main thing.
Gustavo.
Josh, walk me through that touchdown. Beautiful pass by Guarantano. Walk through that touchdown. I mean, was very impressive.
It was just a go route and just making plays. We work on making plays and individual drills and routes on air, and we just try and translate that to the game.
And do you still trust Guarantano? Do you still trust your quarterback?
100%.
Josh, what are the emotions after a game like this where you guys are winning at halftime and then, the second half goes in such a different direction? What are the emotions after a game like that?
It's frustrating, really. We just got to take advantage. We had them exactly where we wanted them, but, they just came out better than us in the second half. Really, we just got to stop making mistakes.
Okay, we'll go to Jimmy Himes, then David Ubben.
Josh, how tough are those defensive backs at Georgia? How difficult is it to get separation from those guys?
We just – I think at the end of the day, we just try to focus on what we could do, especially in the wide receiver room. Most times if we get covered, it's because of the stuff that we did. We like to say that we lost ourselves and not really the cornerbacks really did a lot to mess with us. But, yeah, there was a strong group of guys, and they came ready to play. And, we were just on the unlucky side today.
And at halftime, you have that great goal line stand. What was the attitude of the team at halftime?
It was strong. We were convinced we were gonna win. We were gonna win the game. It's just, but in the second half, they just came out and they just played better than us in the second half. Like I said, we just gotta stop making those mistakes. We were playing well in the first half, but we just gotta carry that into the second half.
Josh, what was Georgia's defense doing to limit you guys and make it so hard to sustain drives for 60 minutes?
I don't know really. I'd have to watch the film, but just from face value, I feel like we just weren't doing our own jobs, and at the end of the day, we were hurting ourselves. So, like I said, we're not gonna win games if we're shooting ourselves. So we just gotta come harder.
And last two questions, Gustavo and then Matthew Ray.
Josh, do you knew your second touchdown was a touchdown from the start? Did you realize that?
Yeah, I had an idea that my foot was in. I don't know how they didn't see it the first time, but I was pretty convinced I was pretty sure that my foot was in originally.
Josh, football is as much mental as it is physical. You guys had your 8-game winning streak snap tonight. How do you, as a leader of this team, help these young guys get back in the groove, get where you need to be heading into next week?
The streak was never a motivating factor. I feel like the players on the team have to motivate ourselves. The streak was nice, the streak was cool and all, but like I said before last week, the streak, Georgia didn't care about the streak, or the streak wasn't going to help us win games. So, the motivation has to come from within, and that's what we're going to preach this week.
Thanks, Josh. Up next, we'll have Jared Guarantano in a moment. We have redshirt senior quarterback Jared Guarantano. Please raise your hand for questions. Okay, we'll start with David Ubben, then go to David Pascal, and then Patrick Brown.
Jared, what was Georgia's defense doing today that was making it so difficult to move the ball consistently?
I thought that they stopped the run pretty well the whole day. First half, they showed us some one highs, stopped the run, and we were able to take advantage of them in the pass game. And in the second half, they made some good second half adjustments, and they came in and played a lot of cloud defense, some cover two, some 3-double cloud, and they were able to stop the run and the pass. So props to them, and I thought they had good second half adjustments to us.
Jared, can you just talk about what was going on there early in the third quarter? You had that really nice first half, but obviously the turnovers early in the third. What was kind of going on there? Was it the pressure they were doing?
Yeah, I thought they came with some different pressures, and they were able to get to me. The one interception, the guy came free. I was supposed to be hot, and I went to go to my hot throw, and he wasn't there, and I got hit, and the ball sailed on me, and then some stuff in the pocket. I mean, I thought I had two hands on the football the whole day in the pocket, but they did a good job ripping it open and creating turnovers. So props to them.
Joe, you touched on those turnovers. Just how big of those were? How big do you think those were in the game?
Turnovers are a big part of any game, and for them to create turnovers, that's probably one of the reasons that they won. And I mean, props really goes to them. I thought they were a really good defense, probably the best defense in the SEC that we've seen in a long, long time. But they were able to create turnovers and got the job done today, and we did. So.
Okay, we'll go to Jimmy Himes, Austin Price, and Blake Topmeyer.
Jared, we were talking to Josh Palmer earlier. He said he was convinced at halftime Tennessee would win. What was your mindset at halftime? Did you feel the same way?
I go into every halftime of any type of game thinking it's 0-0, and I went into the same halftime thinking it was 0-0, and then we had to win the second half, and clearly we didn't win the second half, so we didn't win the football game. But the locker room had a lot of confidence, and Georgia came out and did some things in the second half that we weren't sure of, or that they just performed better than us, and that's all.
Jared, were you surprised, by the lack of ability to drive the ball at all on Georgia? I mean, I think, they're until they're right there at the end of the game, y'all didn't cross the midfield but one time driving the football. Could you have foreseen this coming in?
No, I mean, I thought they had a good pass defense. I didn't think their rush defense was as good as they displayed today, but everybody knows how good Georgia's defense is. That's not a surprise. Every single person in this country that watches college football knows that they probably have the best defense in college football. We knew that too, and we knew that we had to execute, and we had to go into every single play and get the job done. And we stumbled a couple times, and that's the reason for the loss.
Jared, what are the emotions after a game like this where you guys are winning at halftime, and position yourselves to have a chance, and then the second half goes the way that it does? I mean, what's the emotions coming out of a game like that?
I'm sick to my stomach. This was one of my last opportunities to versus Georgia, and I couldn't get the job done with the win. I wish I could get the win back and we go into this game and fix the things, but game's over.
We'll go to Vince Ferrara and Gustavo for the last two questions.
Jared, obviously you've been asked about the turnovers a lot, but you guys had 10 penalties in the game. Take us through the impact of those penalties and putting you behind the sticks and changing the game.
Yeah, we hurt ourselves a bunch today. And to go along with the turnovers, the missed assignments, penalties, all those things fall into place. And we can't do that for such a good team in Georgia. And if we do that, we lose the game, and that's what happened today. We had a lot of things from a personal standpoint that we need to get better at, and every single player on the team needs to get better, including myself. And, I mean, going into tomorrow, that's our plan. And like I said, my goal and our team goal is to go 1-0 every week. And now we're on to Kentucky. We learn from this one. We get better from this one. And now we got to work our tails off every single day.
Jared, how do you move forward preparing to Kentucky? It's going to be a tough challenge as well. These guys still want to keep at least unbeaten at home. How do you prepare for Kentucky game?
Yeah, we do the same thing every week. Wins or losses don't change the outlook of our team. And we go into Sunday, we watch the tape, we got corrections, we do our whole thing. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we got to practice hard, and we got to get better in all facets of the game: offense, defense, special teams. But Kentucky's our main focus right now. This one hurts, like you know what, but there's nothing we can do about it now. All we can do is learn from it, just like we learn from any win or loss. So going into the next game, we know we have a tough opponent in Kentucky, and we know that we have to execute at a high level, just like every single SEC game, in order to come out with a victory.
And how did the lack of the running game affect the passing game? Do you saw something like that?
No, there's some stuff to fix. We got to get better in all facets.
All right, thank you, Jared. We'll have Henry Toto as our final player in a moment. Okay, we have sophomore linebacker Henry Toto. Raise your hands for questions. Okay, we'll start with David Oven and then go to David Pascal and then Vince Ferrara.
Henry, what was that third quarter like for you guys?
Football. We were playing football, honestly, to tell you, David. We had to try to get stops, try to force turnovers. Georgia did a great job of coming out in the second half and beating us in the second half, flat out. So we just got to be able to learn from it, come out at halftime, and execute better.
Henry, what did Georgia maybe do different offensively? I know that it seemed like they brought more pressure defensively and got to Jared early in that third quarter. Did they do anything offensively to change things up?
No, they had the same game plan. They didn't do nothing we didn't see throughout the week, nothing we didn't see on film. So, they just executed the game plan.
Henry, in that third quarter when the offense was turning the ball over, you guys actually got some 3-and-outs and held Georgia to field goals. What's your mindset? You guys still very confident at that point?
Definitely. Our confidence never goes down as a defense. No matter where the offense is there to support us, and we're there to support the offense, no matter what it is. We just got to be able to execute better and force turnovers. That's something huge. We got to get more turnovers as a defense. We got to punch the ball out, get interceptions and all that.
Okay, we'll go to Jimmy Himes, Gustavo, and then Austin Price.
Henry, take me through that goal line stand at the end of the first half. You got Georgia knocking on the door. They're trying to push it in. You guys stood up and stopped them. Take me through that series.
We had to buckle up, really. We had to dig deep. We had to come together as one as a defense and, get a stop, a huge stop to take us into halftime. A huge confidence booster, definitely. So that was huge. So that was huge for us. It just came from the gut.
And at halftime, what was the mood of the team? Did you feel really good about where you were?
Definitely. Whenever you're winning, whenever you're up on anybody, you feel good. You have confidence, but you have to be able to play all 4 quarters, and that's something we didn't do today.
Henry, you led the defense on tackles, 11 tackles. How do you feel about your tackling? Do you feel like you're getting better and better every week?
Yeah, definitely. Every week I try to be the best tackler that I can be. That's what linebackers are there for. There's some stuff that I need to be able to clean up, drive my feet on tackles, and better clean up tackles and stuff like that. So definitely that's something I'll focus on throughout this week.
And did that the defense gave confidence, in the second play, did that give the defense confidence the first half?
See, I honestly I can't even remember what play you're talking about, Gustavo. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I was saying the second play of the game, on the snap, when you guys got the touchdown.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you can score on defense or whenever you can cause a turnover, it's huge. It's huge for a defense, and that's what we try to feed off throughout the rest of the game.
Henry, I know you guys win as a team, lose as a team, but how difficult though is it as a defensive player when you guys spent so much time on the field today? even in the best of shape, it's easy to get worn down, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say anything about that. We're a team. Football is a team sport. You know, we're here. We're wearing orange and white for a reason. So there's no pointing fingers, no blaming anybody. We came in as a team and we lost as a team.
Okay, final few questions. We'll go to Vince Ferrara, David Oven, David Pascal, and Jeff Sentel.
So, Henry, as a leader, after this loss, the way it went down, how do you make sure, besides just, I know you guys talk about being 1-0 each week, but how do you make sure that this ends up being a learning experience versus having a residual effect and end up in any other losses? And how much responsibility is that on you as a leader?
You just got to be able to have the guys come in and have the mentality to get better. We have to do that as leaders, as a team. We have to have the attitude of learning from it. This is not a loss, this is a lesson. So as long as you turn a loss into a lesson and you carry that on, you'll be perfectly fine.
Is that it?
Henry, just real quick, I was curious. This was an 8-game winning streak that y'all had that went by the wayside tonight. Oh, I guess he's done. Okay. Guess he's done.
All right, guys, we have to conclude. The buses are leaving. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you back in Knoxville.
Thank you.